Let's go back to you going from Ontario to LA, or you getting your agent, and like kind of how your parents dealt with you, like choosing to become an artist instead of lawyer or doctor. Like
Yeah.
what was that conversation like?
Oh, that's still a conversation. That's the thing.
Oh
um,
wow.
yeah, no, it's funny because I love my family, but they are very much so. We're privileged. Like I come from slight money, so our family call them whitewash Latinos. So we're Latino, but the thing is, so my grandma came from the barrio, which is like the low key kind of hood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my mom and their generation made their own money, and now they're all like high and mighty. And it's funny because now that they have their money, they're definitely like, oh, we're like white people now. Like we like made it. We don't need to like they kind of like almost look down on like the like Mexican or like Latin culture because it's just like, oh no, and I'm like, wait, what? Like what the heck? Like grandma was in the fucking video. Like don't tell me what you know where you guys came from. So when it comes to things like that, not only did they do that, but our family is very like law enforcement based. Like I have an uncle who's a retired sergeant of the prison. I have another uncle who's retired captain of the CHP. My cousin's a San Diego PD. My sister's a CHP dispatcher for 911. I have a great aunt or something that's like a judge. My cousin's a probation officer. My cousin and her husband are both DAs. So it's like everybody is like law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to become a dancer and work in nonprofit. And they were just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? So I was always the black sheep because everybody's very clean cut and very like, we're Latino, but not really. And I'm just like, I'm Latino, like, and I have tattoos. Like when I got all my tats and like all my chest, they were just kind of like, why did you get yourself? Like, why you look stupid now? And I'm like, no. So
how are you gonna get a job?
Exactly. No, that's funny. That's totally a thing. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, I've always been the black sheep. So when they said, if you want to make money trying to dance, I guess, but not really, like how long is that going to last for, But what's funny is the second I booked a job, they were the first people to be like, oh, my son's in this music video, da 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 da. And I'm like,
of course.
You can't be you can't be showing me off and being all like, oh, look at my son, he's on TV, or look at my son, he's in this music video. Because I'm like, you were just talking shit, saying like, dancing's not going to get you anywhere. Da, da, da. My parents still tell me, they're just like, when are you going to stop dancing? When are you going to stop doing all this? I'm like, when I stop making money? What the hell? Like, no, like this, I'm still making money, So I think it's always just going to be this push and pull of, you're not. Why are you doing this? Eventually your knees are going to get bad. Eventually your body's going to break down. And I'm just like, sure, but eventually that can break down doing anything. I'd rather do it, rather doing it something that I'm happy doing,
Yeah, people's bodies break down sitting in front of a computer all day.
Totally.
Like
so
bad back, or yeah.
So no, fuck that.
I think that's one thing that's interesting because a lot of jobs have a clear cut way of getting there. Like go to school, all this other stuff, get the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Do you think? Because I don't think I've ever asked this question. Are you guys ready?
Oh, are we ready? Drum roll.
But do you think the artistry life will ever have its own clear cut path? Because for the hustle is real for dancing. Like people coming out here out of state, side jobs, like fucking auditions, side jobs, auditions, or do you think that
So I'm gonna break that into two separate parts. So when you said side jobs and hustles, I've been hustling since I was like 16. Like I've always had a job and then my side hustle, whatever. So especially when it comes to dancing, I mean, dancing really is a hustle. And that's a major reason why I couldn't do my dance agent a lot, because the true like industry dancer life is not fun. That chasing a check and hoping that you get booked so you can hope that you paid your rent or you can hope that you eat this week, that is not fun. So after I realized, I was like, oh no, like this is not okay. So I'll never forget the conversation between me and my agent was, he was like, you got to go to this audition. And I said, I can't make it because I have work. And he's like, well, you have to choose one or the other. What are you trying to do? And I said, work. And he's like, well, you have to go to this audition. I said, no, work, because my job is a guaranteed check. There's no, I hope they're going to give me a check. It's, I went to work, you're going to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to choose that. So when it comes to the hustle, I understand that. So when you're talking about, how is there going to be a clear path? The answer is going to be no, because like I said, there's different types of working, right? So some people may not be the touring type or the music video type, but you're still kind of like a working dancer when it comes to side gigs, like performances, entertainment.
Yeah,
when it comes to, look at, I have tons of friends in Disney. Like that's not on tour, but they have a steady check and they have all these gigs. Well, pre-COVID, but pre-COVID they had all these gigs, just entertaining and stuff like that. So I think it's really kind of whatever you make it.
Yeah, it's true. Like, because even for me, when I started pursuing dance a little bit more, 2014, I think that's where we kind of reconnected in the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
And then after that, not too long after that, I auditioned for a company called Antics, which is a hip hop theater company, and I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Like, you get to tour, you're the star. You get paid rehearsals. Like at the time, it was like $15 an hour for rehearsals, and you get paid. It's like, this is a common conversation I've had with many dancers who've been in the industry, that like it's going to look different for everyone. It's super important that you find something that you resonate with. Like what Brandon said, like not everyone is going to be a tour dancer or music video or like all that stuff. Like for me, I found like I'd say, I'm not saying niche, but like I vibed most with that hip hop theater company or just being on stage, because as cool as it is being on set, it's even better to be on stage when you're the star.
Yeah.
So, and that's what turned me off. I didn't want to be like a behind someone performing, and I wanted to be the quote unquote star, which is why I love the.
Yeah, I understand that, like, totally, which is why, like I said, I still work with some small music artists here and there, and I always tell the artists, like, look, if you're a music artist or you want to be one, just listen.
You suck, quit.
You're not a dancer, and that's okay. You're a singer. That's fine. You have backup dancers to make you look better. So that job will always be a thing. So I'm always working with artists and I'm like, you don't have to dance. Like, you're not going to be Beyonce. You're not going to be like this person. It's okay. It's okay to not do that. So those jobs are okay because you have to make someone else shine. But as far as what you're saying is like being the actual person shining, it's something different. And I think I found that also in my other company, before I quit, which is the core dance crew, in a very different way, right? I don't know. So those of you who don't know what core is, the core dance crew was my old dance crew that we are all professional dancers, but we cosplay. So we're the first ever and still the only cosplay performance dance crew. So it sounds kind of nerdy and cheesy, but we found like a little weird
it's a great niche.
That's it.
Especially since geek culture is so huge.
Yeah. So I've had the honor of performing for Stan Lee. I've had the honor of performing at Comic-Con and Anime Expo and WonderCon, and tons of things, and like meeting all these people backstage and performing at these as the kind of like halftime performances at all of these conventions. And I did it for 5 years and it was amazing. And that kind of way is interesting because you have like people, like fans that like love you as like the dancer. They're like, yo, this person is my favorite, and people will follow you. Like, we had our own virtual convention last month, and I was tripping out because a bunch of fans from all over the world got together and made a thank you video to send to us.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? And I'm talking like different, like somebody was in Israel, somebody was in Germany, somebody was in Japan, and they all edited the video to make a thing for us. And I'm like, I have watch. I have this one fan that like, they like make pictures. You can't really see. Like fan art of like me. I've had people like cry, giving me a hug, and just be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm hugging you." And I'm like, I am literally nobody. Like, I'm just a skinny brown guy in the corner. Like, you can relax, it's fine. Like, let's have a conversation. But Yeah, I mean that's a totally different feeling from like being, a backup dancer for a pop artist or something like that. You're gonna look cool, I guess, but nobody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's Emeroy, the backup dancer for that artist. Like,
You're
it's
certainly
gonna
not
be
getting
something
any
different.
airtime on the focus isn't on you on those Super Bowl
Exactly.
performances, and it looks cool, but I don't know, sometimes the gigs don't exactly pay you that much.
Totally.
So that
It's for exposure. Exposure.
yeah. So I mean that's really badass. Like that's what I like. I think the genius of core is like it's practically dominating a niche. It's the only one that exists, and which makes sense. The fan base I think is well deserved.